Fuller. There it goes. Casebooking Explorers by Lon Fuller. The following are excerpts from the book. So this is actually a 48-page book, if you ever want to read it. Pretty good. The four defendants are members of the Spelunking Society, an organization of amateurs interested in the exploration of caves. Early in the May of 4299, it's a long time in the future, they, in the company of Roger Whitmore, then also a member of the society, entered the interior of a limestone cavern of the type found in the central plateau of the Commonwealth. While they were in a position remote from the entrance to the cave, while listening to the hit track, I Knew You Were Trouble When You Walked In by Taylor Swift, a landslide occurred. Heavy boulders fell in such a way as to block completely the only known opening to the cave. When the men discovered their predicament, they settled themselves near the obstructed entrance. So they're stuck in the cave. The task of rescue proved one to be overwhelmingly difficult. It was necessary to supplement the forces of the original party by repeated increases of men and machines. A huge temporary camp was established, including workmen, engineers, geologists, and other experts being established in the camp. The work was difficult and very expensive. The local authorities had to drive the local economy into debt to pay for the removal. The work removing the obstruction was several times frustrated by more landslides. In one of these landslides, 30 workers lost their lives. Since it was known that the explorers had carried with them only limited provisions, and since it was also known that there was no animal or vegetable matter within the cave to eat, anxiety set in early about the chance of starvation. On the 12th day of their imprisonment, it was learned for the first time that the cave divers had taken into the cave with them a wireless machine capable of sending and receiving messages. Once communication was reached, the imprisoned men in the cave asked how long it would take to be rescued. The census among the engineers was 10 more days. Next, the cave divers asked for a doctor. They described their condition and their rations they had taken in with them and asked for a medical opinion on how long they could live inside the cave. The answer was 6 to 8 more days. The radio went silent for 8 hours. The trapped souls came back on and asked if they could survive the 10 days by eating one of the members of their group. Reluctantly, the doctor said yes. The group decided to cast die, so a dice, to see who would be eaten. This was Roger Whitmore's idea. They called up to the surface to make sure that that was all right. No doctor in the area was found willing to give the answer if it was okay to do. Whitmore then asked if a judge or priest would back their decision to eat one of the members. None was found. Therefore, no further messages were received, and it was assumed, mistakenly, it later appeared, that the batteries died. After the rescue of the defendants, after 31 days in the cave, it was found that they ate Roger Whitmore. Once the radio communication stopped, the group had 3 days to think over their plans. On the 23rd day, they decided to roll the dice to see who would be eaten. The original plan was Roger Whitmore's, but right before the roll, Mr. Whitmore decided he did not want to participate. The group still decided 5 to 1 to follow through with the plan. Roger Whitmore's number came up, he was attacked and eaten by the group. After being rescued, the defendants spent 2 months in the hospital where they received malnutrition recovery services and treatment for shock. Once released, they were arrested for murder and tried for murder under the Commonwealth laws. The trial was originally tried in front of a jury, but members of the jury could not come up to a conclusion and asked the judge to make the ruling. The judge ruled all 5 defendants guilty of murder, and the sentence was death by hanging. So they are appealing to you guys as another judge. So all laws are based on our laws in the United States, just so you know. So this is not like a make-believe world or something like that. We're using our laws. So if you go to the back side, it says, if you were one of the justices, explain if you believe they are guilty or found not guilty for murdering a Roger Whitmore. So you have to come up with a claim. Are they guilty or not guilty? You need to find evidence within the the reading. Where the evidence is at. And then the reasoning at the bottom says 8 sentences. It does not have to be 8 sentences. It just needs to answer those questions. There's 3 things I want you to answer in reasoning. How does your evidence show that you're right? Think about the other side. What could they say as evidence? And how can you prove that piece of evidence wrong? Because so part of being in a science class or even a social studies debate class is you have to realize that there's another side to the argument. Everyone can look at data and things differently. So sometimes you have to think about how would someone else think about this and how could I prove that they're wrong? All right, show of hands. How many of you guys think that they're guilty for murder? How many of you guys think they're not guilty? All right. Usually it's more not guilty. Proud of you guys for standing strong. What I want you to do is I want you guys to finish this backside for homework this weekend. You guys actually have 12 minutes right now to get it done. That's why I didn't want to go outside, because it was going to take like 6 minutes to go outside and get everything set up. I think you guys get this done before we even leave here today. So I want you to think about it. What would you say? Are they guilty of murder? Cite the evidence and the reasoning. And then Tuesday, we're going to talk about what you guys actually came up with when you guys get back.